We're live. Think we're live. Yep. Hi there guys, welcome to the new Windows latest podcast where we're going to be speaking about all of the news from the last week. Yep, hi guys. So gonna
on the native applications and Cortana is
a lot of we saw a Redstone PC. There's nothing too exciting in the build, but some of the new changes include as the lock screen, so that's pretty awesome to see Microsoft adding.
Yep.
If you have any comments, you can post on Twitter #WLPodcast.
or you could just comment on our articles or news articles at windowslayers.com. That's the best way to do it. Or you could email us. Yeah, we have a contact page. You can email us any questions you have.
Yeah.
And basically this build before build 2016 is gonna be very subtle. I don't think so. They're gonna get more into this. It's basically gonna unveil most of the new features coming up in build 2016 at the end of this month. But so expect the builds to be quite background work. They're probably laying down background work for the new features. But after build, that is where you need to expect most of the new features where they're gonna start popping out. The physical changes, maybe Cortana gets better or something. Or they're gonna fix how the universal apps work in the desktop environment, because at the moment that doesn't scale pretty good in games when the aspect ratio it's not 16:9, which is usually where full screen games come in.
Second version of Redstone. So we've got Redstone 1 coming this summer, I believe. But now Redstone 2 is actually been pushed back to spring in 2017, according to Windbreaker, which is quite interesting because with Threshold 2 we saw quite a small gap between 1 and 2, but yeah, some of the features in Redstone 1 are going to include Project Send 10 and Islandwood apps in the store, so developers can port over their apps, and improvements to Continuum. I think they're going to see a lot of links with phones, and so you can text from your PC and stuff. That'd be pretty cool. And should see hopefully Edge browser extensions, stuff like that.
Yeah, but speaking about the the Islandwood and the Project Astoria, which is, you're gonna port Android and iOS as Android one is cancelled already. the iOS one is still in the mind map, but I think so. Microsoft is planning to also cancel that, since they acquired the what do you call they acquired what's that company called? Xamarin. Yeah, they acquired Xamarin a few weeks ago, and the company has been known to even using their cross-platform on the Visual Studio 2016, 2015, 2013, and before. I've used it, it's okay, but I haven't actually created an app on it. But basically, I think that's what Microsoft's trends towards, is to unify it. One single code base can be run on Android, iOS, and also Windows, on the whole Windows platform. I think that's more that is more, what do you call that, a plausible fact, rather than asking developers to port, because the only major one they ported from iOS is only Candy Crush and then some other small titles. But Candy Crush, not everybody likes it, not everybody plays it, although it's on Windows 10, it's preloaded on Windows 10. But I don't think so I've ever played it. I never seem to like the game. But yeah, porting over isn't that, it depends on the developer whether they want it or not. If they don't want it, even how much good quality apps you can port over, how big wide range, the developers don't want it. And the problem with porting over games and the applications, that iOS and Android both use their own proprietary engines. Like iOS has the Metal API, and then Android has their own, I think so, OpenCL or something. I think Windows also use OpenCL, but yeah, it's a little different. That's why some of the games, it's not the problem that the language isn't able to be interpreted in that. It's just that the engine is not available on Windows. Maybe in the future, when Windows expands with the HoloLens and Xbox, probably developers will include the engine into the Windows platform. I think that's basically how it works. But with the purchase of Xamarin, I think so they're moving forward towards that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting technology. The Windows security team this week also announced a new feature which should be popular in the enterprise, so that should be quite useful for...
Yeah, that is a very good idea. Actually, basically, since I've been using, I think so it's before, after I switched to Windows 7, or I stopped using those antivirus. I never paid for antivirus, I only used to use Avast for free. But soon after, when the Microsoft, I think so, the Windows Defender came out, it was preloaded on Windows 8, preloaded on Windows 10. So basically, you don't need to have all those antivirus, but computers these days, like Dell, I know they still have McAfee installed in the computer, but I don't think it's necessary, since Windows 10 is really pretty safe. With Windows Defender, Microsoft is, it's already automatically installed on Windows 10 PCs and it's activated on the spot. So it's like virus, if you understand the internet, you don't simply click on links like spam emails, so you know how to identify it. It's really hard to get all those spam links. You can't get virus easily unless you have, and especially all of the advertisements, people tend to think it's part of the internet, because some of these advertisements are very misleading. If people don't have an ad blocker, they'll be seeing the advertisement, it starts popping out, and the most annoying one is that those advertisements which just once you click on the site, just pops out, or pops on in the alternate window, and people think it's they're gonna install their updates or something. They click on it, that's where the virus comes in. Usually these days, these advertisements, they are not that bad actually, but some can be bad, depends on the site you go. Or if you go to reputable sites like CNN or something, like the Wall Street Journal, you won't see these advertisements. But if you go to smaller sites, antivirus software isn't really necessary at all. You just have to have Windows Defender, you turn it on, and you're set already. But this is for the switch, my university right now. The computer is slow, it takes up RAM, and the Windows Phone Facebook app is not been updated for a very, very long time. It's the same old design. It's I don't know what's happening, but Early this year, I think so. Facebook said they're gonna reveal the new Messenger app, Facebook app, and an Instagram app, which is finally getting an update from the Instagram beta. But now this Facebook app, it's still a work in progress. That there are still the feature set isn't that broad now. Like it still didn't support the new reactions that Facebook has now. You can like not only like the post, you can like let's say you're sad about it, you're happy about different reactions. It's still not there, but it's mostly I think Facebook was because most of the people using Facebook are probably using it on a Windows computer. There are Macs, but most of the people are still going to use it on Windows system because Windows systems are everywhere basically, and the fact that Windows 10 is now, I think so, it's the second largest or the first largest. I think so. A few weeks ago, statistics came out that Windows 10 overtook Windows 7. I think so. Is that right?
No, I think.
Okay, still the second place, second or third place.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically Windows 10 with the free update and the continuous like app ecosystem, yeah, Windows 10 is going to be quite important for mostly because Windows 10 spans everywhere from tablets to desktops. It was an important market, and Microsoft and Facebook are actually quite close together.
Yeah, and especially because Windows 10 is the last kind of proper release, and they're just going to keep going with it, so it's just bound to grow over time. So,
yeah, just like it's just like Windows, the Windows 10 brand is going to be replaced by a Windows, so it's no longer Windows, it's Windows 10 only. Just Windows 10 replaces the notion of Windows as a whole, so it's just Windows 10 like version what. It's just like something like iOS and Android, just replacing that word with something like it's a whole word. It's not just a version number, but it's more of what you call that, different versions of it. It's like the complete system of it.
Yeah, like a rolling service.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also this week we had a new Cumulative update for Threshold 2 on our Windows 10 mobile, and that went out to insiders in the slow ring and in the release preview ring. So what this is, it was basically just lots of refinements as Microsoft preparing to roll it out to older devices now. It's basically just bug fixes with connections and just overall responsiveness and reliability. And I'm noticing now it's working better on low-end hardware like the 520, so that's good news.
Yeah, I think Microsoft is right now preparing like tying up the loose ends for the features of Windows 10 more, because they've been promising the Windows Phone 8 devices to upgrade since like December and November. They pushed it back to March, they pushed it back to February, and now I think so the ideal time for them to release it, it's before or after build. They're probably gonna like finalize it, but given that there's a lot of Windows Phone devices, I don't expect that all of them will get it first. Probably the Microsoft branded Lumias will get it first, and thereafter the Nokia Lumia devices will only get it after that, because Microsoft, if you've read that, they are fine-tuning every single device, not every single device, but the general specifications of the device, like 512 meg RAM, probably Snapdragon 400, Snapdragon 410. They classify into that, and then they'll look into various bugs, because the Windows Insider program spans quite a number of Lumia devices, so they know what is the problem, so they're up to fixing it. And most importantly is that they're fixing the bugs here and there. It's just that they're tying up loose ends, and like every now and then the update crashes the phone. So I think so they're preparing that. I think last week they were talking about releasing this firmware update before updating the Windows 10. I think that will come first, and after that only the phones will be able to receive the update, because some of the changes they have to make in the hardware level programming, or not, the device will not be able to perform in peak performance as what Windows Phone is known for, to be speedy even with low-end hardware.
Yeah, it's just all about hard tuning it now, fine tuning it, and just because Microsoft obviously doesn't want to roll out really buggy software, so yeah. So next we have about the firmware for Windows Insiders on phones. So this week, because before you had to go to, like, I think the release preview ring if you wanted to get hardware. No, if you wanted to get
you need to revert back to Windows Phone 8.1 to get the firmware.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
Yeah, so now they're making it a lot easier for Windows Insiders, which is great, and they can now get the firmware for their device straight without having to leave the program.
Yeah, and reverting back, it's basically simplifying the method of, because previously you gotta revert back to Windows Phone 8 to get the firmware update, but now they're directly letting it Windows 10 Mobile in the Insider program to directly update the firmware through that without reverting back to Windows Phone 8. It's gonna take a couple of hours to revert back, because installing and reinstalling it takes a lot of time. Plus, if you're restoring back the data, it's gonna take a little bit longer than that.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot easier now. And on the subject of Windows 10 mobile, getting that ready for release, we also had a number of carriers, well, especially Vodafone in both Australia and Italy, and they're saying that they've finished the Windows 10 mobile testing, and I believe Vodafone in Italy also said they would roll it out next week. Whether that will actually happen, because Microsoft may not let them just yet, but
Yep. They may be able to give the carriers to let the update goes out, but it could be buggy. But Microsoft, that's why I said they may let them get out, but they'll probably patch that up. Even though they let them out, they probably patch it up like a few days later, because there is going to be bugs with the Windows 10 mobile, because as we have seen, the software itself isn't that prepared at the moment. Still a little like screen tearing and all the problems that we used to. Yeah, and basically I haven't quite heard anything in the US here about T-Mobile or AT&T updating the Windows phones to Windows 10 mobile yet, but I'm expecting to hear it in the next few weeks leading up to build. Probably, I think so, T-Mobile will announce it first, because they usually go good with updates, but AT&T not so much. I'm not so sure about that, but yeah, the update should be out in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, definitely, and some carriers, especially in the US, in the past haven't been that supportive of Windows Phone, but
Yeah.
hopefully we will see them start to announce things, and yeah, so I think what I heard was once someone's on Windows 10 mobile, the actual OS updates don't have to be approved by the carrier. Is that right?
Yep, that's true. Yeah, Microsoft has implemented something, but yeah, basically it's actually with that new Windows 10 that Microsoft directly updated. They're actually doing the same thing, but they're doing it reverse. they're actually like getting the carriers to do it, but then they are updating it. The carriers don't need to agree to it. The carriers will get the update first. They'll test it out, but it doesn't go in the end of the day. It's Microsoft is the one which is going to, like, what do you call that, pull the trigger on it. It's not the carriers which is going to decide whether is it suitable for their customers or not. This is a better model, and it should be a lot simpler in the future, since that Microsoft isn't planning to make that much of phones anymore, and Windows phones in general, like there aren't many models on it, so it should be easier to control, unless somehow, like, we call that, Microsoft starts making like carrier branded phones. But I doubt they'll do that. I think they'll release just one phone. Like previously, there's like what HTC One M8 for Windows. It only works for, there's like an AT&T version, the T-Mobile version, and then there's like some Samsung TVS. It's like an AT&T version, and then there's like a Samsung something for Verizon or something. Yeah, I don't think they'll do that often. That is how they are planning to execute this. Is that they are like, what do you call, narrowing down the carriers, mostly the general. If the GSM phone is a GSM phone, like the Lumia 950 and 950 XL, it's basically a GSM phone, so it doesn't work on Verizon or Sprint. It only work on AT&T and T-Mobile. That's what they're moving forward. Like, maybe possibly if they can, they'll probably do it like an iPhone way. They'll integrate the LTE modems to support both CDMA and GSM. That will be the ultimate choice, since that will work with every carrier in the world. Even in China, you see that Microsoft is actually putting a lot of effort in China there. The Windows Phone there is like, because previously they were working with Xiaomi and what is that other company? I think they're working with OnePlus also about the Windows 10 mobile builds. Probably that something will come out of that, because Windows Phone isn't that stronghold in China. Like China, the iPhone and Android are like beating Windows Phone out. Windows Phone is like basically not so strong in the Chinese market, mainly due to the application selection. Because as you see in the Windows Store, most of them are the English titles and the US titles. You don't have specific like Taiwan, like China titles where they have things. And the fact that Windows Phone, it's not that appealing to Chinese because they're more expensive compared to their own phone. Like Chinese manufacturers, they subsidize their prices very, very low. Like, yeah, compared to Windows Phone, it's like Windows Phone can't compare to those Chinese phones.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so I think that's all for this week.
Okay. Yeah, I got something to add. Since you did an unboxing of the 950 XL, right? Why don't you tell us about the experience of the 950 XL so far? Is it good? Is it bad?
Oh yeah.
How's the software, the hardware? Yeah, talk about it.
First of all, the hardware, it actually feels really nice. Like, it's not slippery. It's very light in the hand. Some people complain that it's plastic and it feels cheap, but it feels actually quite nice, and I suppose it's harder to break. The screen, that's amazing. The colours, and I'm using 10586.122, and things are pretty smooth. I don't think I'm having any problems with it.
Alright, because I've been hearing from one of my friends who's been using he said the 950 XL, the software is actually more buggy compared to the 930. So I was thinking that, I don't know, that was the last few weeks ago, maybe it's fixed already now. The 950 XL has better performance in terms of software stability. But I think so, looking forward, Microsoft is now focusing more towards the Windows 10 mobile ready devices rather than looking back towards the older Lumia with Windows Phone 8.1. But yeah, updating Windows 10 is a big topic right now. It'll probably be solved by the end of this year, but the updates are coming. They are coming in the next few weeks.
Yep. That's all for this week. Don't forget to subscribe for more content. Join us next week, next Saturday at the same time.
And don't forget to read our site at www.windowslatest.com. And if you have any questions, just hashtag WLPodcast, and we'll try to answer it every week. Maybe if you don't have any questions, but do ask us on social media. Put a hashtag, write it on our comment section or our website. Anything, and we'll try to answer it. We'll compile that and answer that. Alright, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.